Have you ever seen a UFO? Bigfoot or some ghosts? On Tactiles, there's Susie. She is the host. We really like to hear from you. You can tell us then all about the aliens. And if you're one of them, we really need to know. We really need to know. Really need to know, or we will come and get you in the night.
Hi, welcome to Out of This World with Susan and Willy. I'm Susan Spooler,
And I'm Willy Miranda.
and we're here today speaking with Dennis Rano, who is a UFO caricature artist. Dennis, how are you today?
I'm fine. How y'all doing? That's Southern for how is it?
We're terrific. Thank
How
you
y'all
so
doing? All right.
Great.
We're just wonderful. Dennis recently moved from New Hampshire down to North Carolina, so he's taking on a different accent for us. So Dennis,
Hey, yeah.
tell us about your career in drawing.
Okay. My day job is delivering soda. My night job was doing political cartoons.
Ah, for any
And then
particular newspaper?
Beg your pardon?
What were your drawings for any particular newspaper?
Yeah, I had about 3 or 4 papers I was drawing for at the time. But I got an offer to go to New York City to work on a big chain of newspapers back in '75, and I said, no, I don't like New York City. Yeah, I spent a month there one weekend. Thank you.
Okay.
Never going to live there. I did those cartoons until about, I think it was '08, when I was campaigning and supporting a presidential candidate for two runs. He didn't win, and the second time he got caught for cheating on his wife. John Edwards, you heard of him?
Oh, sure, John
Oh,
Edwards.
I
Yep,
remember John
I
Edwards.
actually get to meet him a couple times. Yes. Yep.
Yeah, me too. But after that, I just said, okay, that's it. They're all in it for themselves. I'm done. But
Okay.
I still got to draw.
You still have
So
to
I
draw.
started doing caricatures of ufologists.
Who was the first one you drew?
Oh, my goodness. I have no idea who the first one was I drew. I knew when I started it, I figured there'd be about maybe 50 to 100 ufologists in the world.
Okay.
After that, I could just fill up a website. That'd be it. Got almost 500 now.
500. Wow.
Wow.
Will, you drew one for Willie and I, and we appreciate that. We're using it as our logo for here on our TV show, which
Yeah,
is terrific.
see that. Nice.
Flying in our spaceship. Stanton Friedman, you've drawn him several times. I love that one because I'm a fencer, and it looks like he's fencing.
Oh, Dan? Yes. Yes, that was a good one of him. Fencing SETI and the U.S. Air Force.
Right. And you've
I knew
also
it. That was the first one was, but
I'm sorry?
I've done a bunch.
And also you have Richard Dolan. Richard Dolan's going to be our keynote speaker for our Greater New England UFO Conference, which is going to be on Saturday, October 17th in
Yeah,
Leominster,
he's a nice guy.
Massachusetts. And you have a
He's
few...
also very photogenic, too. If you go to take his picture, he'll strike a pose.
I love it. Yeah, that's our Richard Dolan's. Also, we've had one of our speakers of the past as Peter Robbins.
Peter Robbins, that's my buddy from New York. He's one of the few people that's older than me.
He's older than you.
Yeah.
All right, and let's see who else is there. We have Jan Harzian. We spoke with him yesterday. Jan Harzian
Yeah.
is the executive director of MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network.
Mhm.
And he's coming off of a space capsule, as it looks like. He's landing on the moon.
Right.
I haven't seen that one
You
yet.
haven't seen that one yet? No, we have a whole bunch of really cool ones.
No.
Now, we just got off a Skype interview with your pal, Mark D'Antonio. And he wanted us to tell you hello.
Hello.
Okay.
And he sounds good.
And he does. Did you know Mark had to have an issue with one of his heart valves, and now he's doing better. He had to have a tracheotomy, so he said one of his vocal cords is paralyzed, and he hopes that it heals up quickly. Let's see. Paul and Ben Eno, you had done a caricature of them, a couple of them actually. You did one in little spaceships.
Yep.
And also you've done Ray Hernandez. Ray, we're having Ray come up from Miami Beach, Florida, and
Really?
you've drawn his caricature.
In October?
Yes.
He's gonna freeze himself. He's gonna freeze.
How he suffers. That's okay. He's making He's making the grand sacrifice.
He'll be okay.
In the name of UFOs.
He'll be okay.
Willie will speak Spanish with him. And then Roxy Zwicker, you just did one of her recently from New England Curiosities. She does tours of haunted cemeteries and lighthouses. Thank you very much. And let's see, there was also, and you made one for Bill Hall. Bill Hall does haunted homes. So tell us some more about your career and your experiences with UFOs.
Well, the first one I had was back in Iceland in '77 when I was in the Navy. I was out at night, but I don't remember if it was daytime, because in Iceland in the summer you get, the sun comes up at 11 p.m. and goes, it comes up at 3 p.m. and stays out until 11.
I mean
3 a.m. that comes up and it stays out till 11 p.m. And then in winter it's just the exact opposite. You only get 3 or 4 hours of daylight. So I don't know if it was daytime, summertime, or wintertime, but I was out burning some trash and I looked up in the sky and I saw an object go from, let's just say, north to south. I said, wow, nice shooting star. And then it went from south to east. Then it went from east to north, and then north to west to where it started from.
Wow.
I said, that's nice, and I just finished burning and went right inside. I'm not staying out here anymore. That was the first one. The next one I had was, about a long time later, it was like in the 80s. I was going home from work. I don't know if you're familiar, you know where Mount Washington is.
Sure. Absolutely. I've climbed it.
Down.
All 6,288 feet of it, yes.
Climbed it?
I've hiked Mount Washington, sure.
I drove it. I ain't going to climb that thing. Anyway, I was coming home at the base of it, and I was going around a sharp they call Dead Man's Curve.
Yeah.
Kingston Notch. It was all curvy and stuff. And I look up in the window of my car, and I see a black thing looks like it was stuck in the windshield, the top of the windshield. So I put the window down and looked up, and it wasn't a black thing stuck in the windshield. It was two big triangles following me down the road.
Oh, wow.
A nice curvy road. They weren't making any noise at all, so I had to watch the road, and when I got my bearings, I looked back up, and they were gone.
Wow.
Triangles.
And
huh?
that-
Yeah, about a week later, I was delivering to a store in Bethlehem, New Hampshire, and the manager, retired Air Force officer, I told him about it because he was into UFOs and stuff, and I told him about it, and I said, what do you think it was? He said, look up the Aurora aircraft. I looked it up. I guess there's something the Air Force said they never built. And I asked him about it a week later, and I said, there's something the Air Force never built. He said, you believe everything you read? He said, what better place would it be to try these out than in the mountains around here where they can go around in circles and through the trees, I said, interesting. So I think that was just what I saw of the Aurora. That wasn't a UFO. He also told me he used to work at a place in, where in the heck is it, this Area 51 area place? Where is that at? That sounds familiar, right?
Area 51 is in Nevada.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, is that...
Down there he worked.
He worked there? Okay.
Roswell, New Mexico is where he worked too.
Okay.
And he told me he's seen things that he couldn't tell me about because when he retired he was sworn to secrecy.
Wow.
Yeah. Like one episode he told me this was in Roswell. He said we was somewhere, maybe it was Area 51, but he said there was a bunch of big hangar doors were open and he decided to go look inside and three big guards stood right in front of him. Told him not to bother. I said, you were an officer. Couldn't you say anything? Tell him to get us. No, he said no. When you've got three big guys with guns, you don't say anything. Just walk away. So who knows what's going on out there?
Didn't you have an experience where, or was this your secondhand experience story with President Eisenhower?
Oh, that's just somebody told me about that where he saw a UFO. He was on a ship.
Okay.
did a cartoon about that. That's just something someone told me, or I read it somewhere. I don't remember. The other experiences were all down here in North Carolina. Came down for a visit once to visit my daughter, and was looking up at the full moon, and this silver object came like from behind the moon, headed towards Earth.
Wow.
Just the weirdest thing I ever saw. Just from behind the moon, and then it just disappeared. I reported that to MUFON. Then my wife sees all kinds of these little cylinders in the sky over here. I see them once in a while, but she's got better eyes than I do, I guess, but she sees them all the time. I got a picture of one. I got a binoculars that take photographs, and it's still too far away in the picture. I'm hoping to get a good close-up. And then, just last fall, we saw an object go from north to south, and it looked like at arm's length, it was about a quarter of an inch square, black object. It looked like a piece of paper flopping around, but it was flip-flopping in a straight line. Not curving or going with the wind, just going in a straight line.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I saw something somewhere on somebody's website about cubes. I told my wife that could have been a cube we saw, because it was square, and every time we'd turn, it would still look square. It wasn't like a turn and get flat, like a piece of paper. It was always square.
That seems to be a new phenomenon that's out there. I've seen videos of these cubes that are out there in space. Yeah.
I didn't report that one either. Oops. My bad.
That's okay.
But that's about all I've had for... That's all. I have people... This is the weird part. I moved here from New Hampshire. It's a 16-hour drive from where we live. And I was in a store where my wife's got a job. And one kid came up and started talking to me about UFOs.
Really?
Now, him and his brother, he says, were abducted. How his grandmother was walking out to her shed one day and saw this little gray man standing behind her with big black eyes, and she turned around, he was gone. Out of the blue, he's talking to me about that.
Oh, for God's sake. Wow, that's
Yeah. And I asked Audrey Hewins, you know Audrey?
Yes, we know Audrey, yes. Mm-hmm.
I was asking her about that, and she says, well, contactees, abductees know how to get in touch, know who they are, know each other. They know who you are.
Okay.
She tells me, she says, I can't wear a watch, so she thinks I was abducted. I don't think so. They're looking for intelligent life, you know? Come on. I can't wear a watch, but she said that's one of the signs. Okay.
Is that right? Okay. Because your electrical body is it interferes too much with the mechanisms in a watch?
I have no idea. I tried a pocket watch, figured that would work, but that thing started going backwards.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, digital, it doesn't matter. Digital or the ones with the hands, doesn't matter. They stop.
Okay.
Well,
When did that start happening for you?
What, the watches? I never could wear a watch.
Even as a child?
Even as a child, I'd get a watch for graduation or something, and a week later it'd be dead. Once my father got so mad, he let me wear his watch. Said, here, try this. Put my watch on, it worked on him. His watch, but in 3 or 4 days, died.
Wow. But then when he put it, so that it just destroyed it then completely?
Yeah.
that was very interesting.
Wow.
My watch on him worked fine. His watch on me died within 3 days.
So, Dennis, what's been the most challenging person to draw?
The most challenging person to draw, I'd say, would be Paola Harris.
Yep, yep.
Because she reminds me of my grandmother. She doesn't look like my grandmother. She reminds me of my grandmother. I have a problem when I'm trying to do a caricature of somebody, and they remind me of somebody else. I mean,
see.
I've had to do about 6 or 7 of her to get hers just the way I want it.
I see.
Why is that? That's interesting. Is
Yeah.
it a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it's a bad thing.
I see.
If somebody reminds me of somebody else, I just have a hard time. Just gives me a rough go at it.
Ah, okay.
I see.
So you said you've drawn over 500 caricatures.
Close to 500, yes.
And how many years has that been?
Since 2009.
Since 2009. Wow.
Yeah.
That's 6 years.
That's
That's a lot of work.
And that's not counting ghost hunters.
Oh, that's right. You're dealing with ghost hunters too.
Yes. Yes.
So
Giving them another shot at it.
you're going to let them. You're going to open up your website again and see what.
I'm not going to open a website. I'm just going to put a section in my Ufologist Tunes website.
For the haunted
we're going.
house.
If I get any grief, I'll just cancel it.
Okay, all right. Well, hopefully they'll be more appreciative of your efforts moving forward.
Yeah, that would be nice.
So,
Oh yeah, enough of the nonsense, huh?
enough nonsense.
Right.
Life's hard enough. You might as well try to be nice to people. Exactly. Is there anything else you'd like to talk to us about or tell us of your caricature experiences? I mean, do you ever go to UFO conferences and then draw people?
The only places I've been to the UFO festival in Exeter.
Okay.
That was fun. I didn't have one last year, but I can't make it up there for another one. But that's a good place to go. I mean, it's a real fun time, and it's always sunny for some reason. It's always a nice September day.
Yeah.
They've got things for kids to do in the park. They got vendors outside selling food.
Yeah, sounds like a good
All
one.
kinds of
Me and Susan and I are probably going to be visiting that one also.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
visiting the Exeter, New Hampshire event. We'll also be going to be paying a visit to the experiencers to help Audrey to support her up in.
Yeah, I told Audrey, you have to wait till I leave to start that, huh? She
You what?
I told her you had to wait until I left before you started that.
Oh, okay. So how many years now have you been in North Carolina?
This is going to be working on the 4th year now.
On the 4th year you've been. Okay.
Yeah, so
All right.
3 years in March, and I'm starting on my 4th year.
Okay. All right.
It's fun. Getting used to, well, I don't know if they're getting used to having a heathen in a Bible Belt, but that's their problem.
Just keep to yourself. Are there any MUFON groups down there?
Yes, there's a MUFON group. Matter of fact, about a month and a half ago, I spoke with my caricatures in a town called Hickory to MUFON people. Lakita Adams is the state director, and Israel Curiel is the advertising guy that's in charge of everything else. And it was a good time. There was a lot of people there, and a lot of interesting people. One guy was talking to me about the cylinders that he sees, that my wife sees.
So they're seeing cylinders, and they're also seeing cubes. You said.
Yeah, I saw a cube. We saw one cube since we've been here. That's it.
Wow. Yeah, that is new in all the years I've been interested in the phenomena. It seems that they come up with new styles. Maybe they have their own alien fashions, and we have to try to keep up with them.
They say they shapeshift too.
Yes,
So-
that's right. Yes, I think that's a good point.
Shapeshift, yeah. Possible.
Yep. So when are you going to make it up here? When's the next time?
I don't plan on going back up there. It's cold.
We do have summertime.
Yeah, but it's still cold in it. My wife is so used to being down here after 3 years plus that, if the temperature drops to 70, she's got her winter coat on.
Oh, geez.
Uh,
Come on.
Her
We got a
blo-
hot tub. We won't go in a hot tub until it's, about 80 outside. What good is that?
how quickly you forget.
Yeah. Well, she bugs her because in November, December, I'll go in a hot tub, and if the pool's still open, I'll go in the pool after the hot tub. Well, it's 50 degrees out. That's all right. It's comfortable. It's August in New Hampshire.
That's
What do
right.
you want? Yeah.
Terrific.
Oh yeah, it's August in New England actually.
That's right. It's August in New England right now. So, is there anything else you'd like to share with us? This has been a lot of fun talking.
Yeah, I just wish that down here in North Carolina, if anybody's listening, they should do a festival like in Exeter, because they have that Fayetteville incident.
Fayetteville.
Yeah.
Oh, Fayetteville in North Carolina.
Yes.
Can you tell us a bit about that? I don't know all the details.
Let me get to it here. It's just this, I can't remember the guy's name. He went fishing and disappeared for a while. And, he thought he was only gone for a little while, and he was gone for about 4 hours or something like that.
Oh, wow.
Missing time.
Yeah.
Missing time.
Chris Bledsoe Sr., yes.
Chris Bledsoe
That's who
Sr.
it was.
And that was in Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Yep. I got
Okay.
a thing on my website, on the jump page, it's an interview. His interview is on there. I wish they would do so. I talked to Lakita Adams about that. It's a nice little festival. Get people interested.
It's a lot of work.
They had, what's that?
It's a lot of work to put these events together. That's what we're
Yeah.
doing. So.
But the one we had here, there was pretty interesting because I spoke, and then they had another guy spoke, and he was a teacher who was, him and his daughter were visited, and a good story, and he just wanted to know what was going on. Then some other lady came on and get out the tinfoil hats. Oh my goodness. She said, I'm not prepared. She had a novel in front of her. She had everything, every little detail that of her experiences. Unbelievable.
Wow,
Yeah.
Impressive.
that's amazing.
That's me. I just got up there and went, humana, 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 humana. This is what I do. This is what I draw. Goodbye.
Yeah, that's right.
I told them about it. They also want to know about who I met and stuff like Kathy Martin. You hear the story on Kathy Martin? I think it's in her book. That Betty and Barney Hill, that's her
That
aunt.
was her aunt, yes. Mm-hmm.
And they didn't want to get known for this UFO abduction, but some reporter guy in was it Boston Herald decided to run the story, a guy named Luttrell.
Right.
So that threw them in the limelight. They weren't happy about it. The irony, the whole thing is, my wife, when she worked at a convenience store in North Conway, worked with a guy named Luttrell, and he was the son of the reporter.
Is that
Oh,
right?
no
Oh my
kidding.
God, such
Wow.
such a small
For the
world.
longest time, I was trying to figure out why he was so interested in what I was doing.
He was or he wasn't?
He was,
He was.
Maybe
Yeah.
he was very interested in the case.
Yeah.
yeah. And then his father passed away, and I got in touch with Kathy. She said, "Well, it's the end of that chapter." But yes, imagine that.
Yeah, I had spoken to Kathy last year at last year's conference, and I asked her, it must have been very difficult for her aunt back in that era,
Right.
because she was, she was in an interracial marriage,
Right.
and back in that day, that was kind of looked upon, and she was telling me, yes, as a matter of fact, yes, and then with their experience, and then that coming into light, that must have put a real strain on them.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
It couldn't have been easy. I remember watching the movie with James Earl Jones
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. Could have been much
as
fun.
Barney
Yeah.
Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, even up in New Hampshire, could have been much fun.
Exactly. Yeah, especially in New Hampshire, right? So, well, we wanted to thank you for your time here, and appreciate
Thank you for having me.
extend our appreciation for sharing your caricatures, so we could use them to let people know how eclectic our speakers are, and we hope to speak with you again soon.
Alrighty then.
Thank you so much for your time, Dennis. We really appreciate it.
Y'all have a good day now, you hear?
You too.
You too, Dennis.
All
Take
right.
care.
This
Bye.
is
Bye.
Susan. This is Out of This World with Susan and Willie. Thank you for joining us. Have a great day.
Have you ever seen a UFO? Bigfoot or some ghost?